the security guard who decided to shoot a black man for playing music? Well, put him up for a mask. He has now been found guilty. Former security guard Gregory Livingston, who decided to fatally shoot an unarmed African-American male, Alvin Motley, will now spend the rest of his life behind bars and has been found guilty of first-degree murder. Livingston worked as a contract security guard for Kroger. He was patrolling the grocery store and the gas station when Motley and Foster pulled up to a pump. He confronted Mr. Motley and yelled at him, "Turn down your music." Okay, he's not law enforcement, he's the security guy. Livingston had his gun drawn and told Mr. Motley to back up, and then decided to shoot him once square in the chest. Motley was only carrying a cigarette in one hand and a beer in the other. He died at the scene. Livingston's trial took less than 1 week to complete. His attorneys built his trial defense on a self-defense claim, asserting that he feared for his life and had no idea what Motley was going to do when he approached him. With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. Sir, you are a security officer, not a police officer. See, here's the irony of this whole thing. If you were a police officer, based on the Supreme Court's ruling, that defense would actually stand even though you committed murder.
Right.
Because a cop gets to have a subjective standard, meaning his own or her own impression of what was happening counts. You, however, you have an objective standard, meaning a reasonable person looking at the situation in an objective manner, would they come to the same conclusion as you did? Prosecutors showed jurors the videos and maintained that Motley was not a threat, noting the items he was carrying when he approached Livingston. One prosecutor told the court that Mr. Motley was also legally blind and may not have seen the gun that Livingston was carrying. After the shooting, Livingston called the police but never rendered medical aid. Livingston was sentenced to life in prison. Court records show his attorneys, they have already filed a motion for a new trial. He was initially charged with second-degree murder, but a grand jury indicted him on first-degree murder December 2021 after reviewing cell phone and surveillance videos. There's a statement from Attorney Ben Crump, quote, "They said what this family has been feeling the whole time, that this was not only necessary, unnecessary, not only unjustifiable, but it was heartless. It was a heartless killing of a young man who was armed with only a can of beer and a cigarette," said Attorney Ben Crump. Mr. Motley lived in Chicago. He owned a clothing business. He visited Memphis to do business and meet with family members and had just arrived in the city before he was shot and killed. He was an aspiring actor, entertainer, and he was also a media personality who simply went there to further his entrepreneurial prowess. All right, so here we go. Now, you have to look at cause and effect even before you get to the cause and effect. And so this guy will serve the rest of his life in prison. Justice has been served in that arena to the degree that it can, all right? Justice, unfortunately, can only be reactive. But he felt emboldened. He felt empowered. He felt as if he would get away with this. He didn't even take a plea deal in order to get a lighter sentence. He decided to go to trial believing that members of that jury would believe him, at least one of them. So how do you get to this place? Well, you get to this place through social engineering, typically. And all of the individuals are responsible for their own evil deeds. But there's a comfort seemingly present today to make black men and black women the hunt. All right, just the thoughts here.
Yeah, he thought he could get off with it, right? He thought, which is amazing that he decided to go to trial, right? He's just a security guard. He's not a cop, as you mentioned. We understand how police in this country are protected. They can say they feared for their life. I mean, there's still images of him just drawing a gun out on Motley from yards and yards away. I mean, they are not close. There is no immediate threat or danger to him. The guy already has his gun on him, and for loud music. But again, back to sort of the thing we have been talking about this idea of, that the MAGA movement and the right-wing movement feels that there is, an anti-white bias, even in the justice system. You've got the former president saying that somehow the justice system is unfair to him. Meanwhile, they keep him free, even though he's violated his gag order a million times.
Right.
This is the kind of case that you could see under a different presidency in, fast forward a few years or rewind 100 years. This man would not be going to jail for shooting an unarmed black man in the chest.
That's right. And listen, his attorneys are determined to get this case overturned. They immediately filed a motion for a new trial. So we will likely have to update this case in the future as well.